Alright, what's up everyone, I'm Filoki, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Jamal Adams and how he's kind of holding out right now. Now, the Jamal Adams situation right now is a bit convoluted, you could say, where you really don't know what the exact reason why he isn't at the mandatory minicamps is, but he's not there. Supposedly, there's an excused absence for him having family issues that he needs to be with. He also has a contract up in the air and he wants to get his money. He also is probably dealing with the plethora of injuries that he had last season. So there's a lot to talk about here, but let's just kind of try and get down to the bottom of why Jamal Adams isn't at the minicamps right now. Yesterday, Adam Schefter ended up tweeting out that Jamal Adams was officially not going to be participating in mandatory minicamps this week for the Seahawks. And in the press conference from Pete Carroll yesterday as well, he said that it was a family issue that he had to deal with. So he said that it was an excused absence, but you know, who knows if there's also some things with the contract, some other things like injuries. Chris Carson also wasn't at the mandatory minicamps, but that's because he's, having a kid. As I assume most of you know, the Seattle Seahawks ended up trading 2 first-round picks, Bradley McDougall and a 3rd rounder for Jamal Adams and a 4th rounder last year. So, of course, the Seahawks gave up a ton to get Jamal Adams, and it's going to be very important to get him on this contract. But it doesn't seem like the contract talks are going very poorly. Pete Carroll in his press conference said that Jamal Adams' contract talks are ongoing and have been amicable and very respectful. So, of course, it doesn't seem like they're having really too many issues actually talking when it comes to the contract situation. You got to figure out all the money. He's going to be paid a lot of money, and I feel like he's worth it because he obviously brings an energy to the defense that really hasn't been there in a long time. Bradley McDougall wasn't bringing that energy, so it's definitely going to be nice to have him on a long-term contract, but it's definitely going to be a huge contract. A lot of money is going to have to be figured out where to take away from the future, and I mean, it's not like we can use any of the contract restructures from Russell Wilson or Bobby Wagner because that would probably hinder the ability for us to get a long-term contract with Jamal Adams. It's not the problem with him getting money this year, it's every year after that. And the Seahawks, I think, will be fine after this year because, once the COVID stuff is kind of fixed, once people are going back to the stadiums and actually watching the games, they're going to be bringing in the money, they're going to be rolling in the dough, and they're going to be up in the salary cap by like 20-30 million. And going into this next season, so that's going to be fine for the Seahawks. I feel like the money's going to be all right. This year, definitely a really tight number, but going into the future, probably going to be all right on the money front, so I'm not too worried about giving this big contract to Jamal Adams. 1, he's worth it, and 2, the money's going to be pretty fine in the future. We just have to figure out everyone else, because DK Metcalf's going to have to get a big contract soon. Apparently, Dwayne Brown wants to get a contract for the future as well, so that's honestly good news. I'll talk about that in another video, but overall, I mean, monetarily, I don't think it's that big of an issue for the Seahawks right now. And I don't think that it's that big of an issue for Jamal Adams either. Something that gives me quite a bit of confidence about this situation is what Quandre Diggs ended up saying in his press conference about Jamal Adams. He said, "I know he's working and I know he's going to be good to go when he gets here. I know he has no selfishness about him. It's getting worked out and he'll be here. No concern on my end." So, of course, Quandre Diggs basically saying, he's a close friend with Jamal Adams. He doesn't really see much of an issue with what's going on right now. I think everyone kind of knows that Jamal Adams, he's going to get his money. He wants to get his money. He's going to get paid. It's kind of inevitable. And the contract talks seem like they're going pretty well for the Seahawks and Jamal Adams. No real bad blood between them right now. And, Quandre Diggs probably being really close to Jamal Adams in this situation said there's no concern on his end. So I feel like we shouldn't really be worrying too much about it. Of course, the money's going to be pretty big. He's going to get paid a lot of money, but overall it seems like the situation's going pretty well. It's not like one of those Le'Veon Bell situations or something like that where the team doesn't really want to offer the money. He's going to sit out the entire season until he gets the money, something like that. It seems like Jamal Adams probably going to get the payday he wants. Seems like the contract talks are going well, and then he's going to go play for us and hopefully do pretty well, stay healthy. And that's why when it comes to Jamal Adams missing this week's mandatory minicamps, it really doesn't seem too much like a holdout to me. Of course, Pete Carroll said that it was a family matter, it was a personal issue, that he has an excused absence. Of course, that could just be a little bit of a show for the media to try and take the pressure off the situation. But even if it is about the money, even if it's about the contract, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. It doesn't seem like Jamal Adams is too hard pressed about it. It seems like the contract talks are going well. Quandre Diggs definitely going to be someone close to the situation, says there's no real concerns. So I don't know if it's really a holdout per se of him trying to get his contract, or if he actually has issues with his family, if he's dealing with injuries still. I mean, there's a lot of things that could go into it, but I do think that the whole situation with Jamal Adams is going as well as it possibly could. As you would expect, the Seahawks had this monetarily planned out when they ended up trading for Jamal Adams. You're not going to trade 2 first-rounders for a superstar that you know is going to need to get paid without even worrying about when you're actually going to pay him, how you're going to pay him, stuff like that. So they have this all kind of figured out, planned out, so it doesn't really seem like there's going to be much of an issue with the contract situation. But you already know, you can already kind of hear it in your head, all the New Yorkers, all the people that are fans of the Jets being like, oh, we told you so, we told you Jamal Adams, he's a crybaby, all he can do is blitz, he just wants his money, you guys are going to be ruined because he sucks. I don't think that's the case. I think Jamal Adams, I think he brings a lot of energy to the defense. I think he does really well when he's blitzing. He can stop the run. He makes tackles. All he really needs to do is get his coverage a little bit better, and his coverage wasn't horrible. Everyone's said his coverage was horrible, and there were a lot of bad coverage plays by him, but overall, I think that his coverage can get a lot better, and if it does, that's absolutely terrifying for the other teams. If Jamal Adams can cover like a top safety, that'd be absolutely insane. So I'm really happy with the Jamal Adams trade still. I think we're going to get him on a long-term deal. It's going to be really high paying, but the money's going to get a lot better after this season. So honestly, I don't think it's much of a problem. Jamal Adams may or may not be holding out of the mandatory minicamps right now, but even if he is, I don't think it's an issue. I don't think it's going to be a Le'Veon Bell situation with the Steelers where nothing really happens. He sits out a year and then leaves the team. I don't think that's going to happen whatsoever. I don't think the Seahawks will be able to really force the franchise tag on Jamal Adams either. I think they're going to have to get a long-term deal. You don't really want to mess with your relationship with a superstar on your team because the franchise tag is basically saying, we don't want you, but we kind of want you. We don't want to pay you, but we want your talents type of thing. So I think they're going to get the long-term deal done with Jamal Adams. I don't really see too much of an issue with this situation. A lot of people are talking about how he's sitting out of the mandatory mini camps and stuff like that. But overall, it could be injuries, could be the family issue, or maybe he just wants his contract. Either way, I don't think it's going to be a big deal when it comes to, the next few weeks. Maybe next month we'll completely forget about this because they'll have his contract and he'll be really happy and the Seahawks will all be good. And I think everything will work itself out. But let me know down below in the comments what you think about this situation. Should we pay Jamal Adams? The answer is yes, but you can still answer that question if you want to. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.